His Excellency Emmanuel Neville Snack, Governor General of St. Lucia, Honorable Alan Chasney, Prime Minister, Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Philip J. Pierre, Dr. Gail Rigobert, Minister of Education, Innovation, Gender Relations and Sustainable Development, Members of Parliament, Members of the Diplomatic Corps, Members of the Board of Governors of Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, Dr. Keith Nurse, Principal, Sir Arthur Lewis Community College, managers, faculty, and staff of the college, viewers, and most important of all, the graduating class of 2020. Rewarding resilience, pivoting through the adversities of the 2020 pandemic. Adversity, resilience, reward. Many familiar words in there. Less familiar, perhaps, is pivoting, unless you are a physics student, a good footballer, or even a budding politician. But perhaps I can start today by unpacking some of the heaviness of today's topic and share some valuable insights with you at this critical and pivotal point of your life's journey. Biblically, it has been written that the last shall be first. So starting with the last, let's discuss the pandemic. We naturally must start with mourning the loss of many souls from all walks of life. Potential athletes, scientists, and transformational leaders like so many of us here today, simply gone from existence. We will never know what contributions they may have made, what they could have become, all gone too soon. All statistics in a global headcount of lost potential. In the Caribbean, particularly here in St. Lucia, we have seen hardship. Key sectors of tourism and entertainment virtually removed, and the economic impact likely to resonate for years. We live in fear for our very health, for our very lives, and for our futures, while trying to recreate normalcy in whatever way we can. We have seen births, accomplishments, and even graduation ceremonies where we celebrate human resilience. That innate quality that says that while the world is brought to its knees by a pandemic, we bend a knee and pray and lift our spirits to forge on another day. We have all made sacrifices. No doubt, tragically, there are persons here who have lost even more. But you are here, proud and resilient, ready to take on tomorrow and every other day to come as we hopefully emerge from the pandemic stronger and more assured of our capacity for struggle and success. This is perhaps the legacy of the next word, 2020. A year that will no doubt be spoken of with hushed tones for a very long time, entering the realm of 1492 and 9/11 as a numerical reference that carries with it a host of emotional meanings. 2020 has rapidly come to be the year with perhaps the most memes of all times. That "so 2020" of you will likely be a phrase you will see for many years. But on the flip side, the pivot side, 2020 has shown us great strides in remote learning, an overwhelming increase in the use of electronic banking, and forced evolution in how we access movies, goods, and even our food. 2020, like it or not, has been the necessity that has mothered much invention. We speak of hindsight being 2020, and for many, that could not come soon enough. The ability to look back at 2020 in hindsight and ask, what did we learn? What did we do? What are we most proud of? For our gathering today, surely this moment will be one of the nuggets of gold in a dark year. A moment of pride, made even more powerful in the realization that this achievement which we celebrate today was in the throes of the most challenging year ever. But we are here, proudly receiving official acknowledgement and accolades of our many achievements, with printed form that will proudly bear the year 2020 on it, signaling for future families and all who see it that this was the year that we achieved a milestone. I wonder how many of you were paying attention to the official theme of the address. Takes us to that very word, adversity. For all of us, this word will have a particular personal meaning. For some, it's the adversity of trying to cope with mounting bills due to job loss. For some, the challenge of thieving the neighbor's Wi-Fi to send cute pics at 2 a.m. when you're supposed to be studying. Yes, we all suffered in our own way, right? But setting aside the challenges of updating your latest TikTok or seeing if that cute friend liked your new story, the entire region and our nation have faced adversities unknown before these times. Your teachers will tell of the difficulty of preparing lessons plans virtually, of having their own young children underfoot as they tried to focus on your educational goals. Your parents, and indeed children, will tell of the challenges faced as you took more screen time away from family time to follow your dreams. But for many, no doubt some here today, adversity took even more painful meaning with the loss of contact with close friends and family. The deep fears of those who became sick themselves or had the anxiety of being away from loved ones who suffered. The most human adversity, isolation in any form, particularly in times of anxiety, has created a new form of adversity for many. The challenge of focusing on studies while the world seems to be collapsing around them. How many nights have some of you tried to study, battling confused sleep cycles, trying to find a quiet corner at home to focus, even stealing away to a quiet spot just to be able to take smaller steps towards today and this moment of achievement? For many, adversity was an anchor that pinned them to their stagnant spot with a false sense of security while the world moved on around them. But for others, it was a mental gym, free weights, resistance bands, with which they exercised their own power to empower themselves and rise stronger for the effort. That's you. That's each and every single one of you here today. That is why you are here. Feel that pride. Let no one ever forget that you did the heavy lifting to be here. And since I'm addressing a group of clearly intelligent people, you probably picked up the next word for us to discuss. Pivot. Another word that in the world of business has become a buzzword. To pivot literally is to stay on the same spot, rotate, turn to face another direction. We see it with the best footballers, the Messis, the Ronaldos, and even the late great Maradona were perfect examples. They would stay low on the ball, turn so quickly that the opposing player would often zoom past, leaving them with a clear line to the goal for their best shot or a critical pass. Naturally, in the world of business, the ball and the opposing player are different things, but the principle is largely the same. You may not be able to tell, but I was an excellent player in my day. Okay, maybe just an okay player, or maybe even a better player at FIFA on PlayStation. But I assure you, I have been able to apply the principle in my professional career much more effectively. To pivot, one needs a number of things. Firstly, to be well grounded and well informed about where you are and where you want to pivot to. For a good striker, it's called ball sense. Even knowing where your teammates and the goal is. In real life, it can mean simply what skills, resources, and opportunities are within reach for your next move. Secondly, you need good ball control. That is the skill set you have developed through education, experience, and great to be the best at what you do. Without that, you will likely execute a stylish move and still lose the ball. We all know a few players like that, all flash and no finish. Thirdly, and very importantly, you must read your opponent, even if that opponent is the entire market in which you operate. You must know that at that critical moment, they will go left when you fake and go right to create that clear space of opportunity. First National has pivoted many times without losing its core of who we are and what we represent. As a penny bank established over 8 decades ago, we were there for the ordinary depositor, the ordinary St. Lucian, providing a glimmer of hope for saving and investing. We pivoted to offer new services and create opportunities for our clients as their circumstances evolved. In the closing days of brick-and-mortar banking that we are in now, we have again pivoted to electronic banking initiatives, personal banking for our emerging wealth creators, and futuristic initiatives to again change our line of opportunity in a changing market. Now we stand with a clear line to go, knowing that we have not faced the last defender, but taken that critical next step in the direction along with our colleagues across the banking network. By pivoting at the right time into new opportunity, we have improved our robustness and increased our next word, please, resilience. Resilience is perhaps the most complex of our words today because it will need to take many forms and adapt to yet unknown challenges to pursue still unimagined opportunities. But simply put, in a nation that has faced many destructive storms, we all know that there are some trees, like the coconut, that will sacrifice their fronds and nuts and remain standing after each storm passes, while some mighty and impressive trees with shallow roots are the first to fall over, and other simple grasses that will just lay flat in the worst storm and easily rise again as the sun rises the very next day. These are the many faces of resilience. And in the world of business, nursing, engineering, farming, hospitality, science, economics, in every field, resilience will take a different form. But common to all these forms is the core concept of flexibility and deeply rooted core strength. The roots of your education, family, and societal development that give you the base of your decisions. You can ask yourself, what is my brand? What do I stand for? And the answers may surprise you. For our bank, First National Bank, we look to our core vision and mission regularly. They are not just etched words on a sign or in some dusty book on a shelf. We apply them like a ruler or moral compass regularly to ensure that we are making decisions that redound to the betterment of all. And so it should be for you all as individuals. Who are you? What do you stand for? Know this, and you will be free to be flexible within the boundaries of your core brand. To recognize that today's setback is not a crisis, that today's win is not a triumph beyond how it serves the entire journey. Resilience comes from a consistent application of the core values that define us while being confident and knowledgeable enough to consider always, how can it be done better? What change can I make? How can my personal experience and passion change the world in whatever small way? Because that is the point, isn't it? To be the change we want to see and experience. I assure you, some of the greatest innovations come from the doers, the counter staff who realize how foolish it is to have to leave to check a book in another office as they demand a fast reference guide at their fingertips, from the factory worker who makes his or her own handle for a tool so that it can fit a bolt in an awkward part of a machine. These are the people who build resilience through adaptability, the ones who search for better whilst rooted in current best. And through this resilient, flexible, well-rooted thinking, they naturally position themselves for the greatest last word of human endeavor: reward. It's everyone's favorite time, and I will reward you for giving me your time by not taking too much more of it. Reward itself is impossible to define, since it has a completely different meaning to every one of us here today. For me, it's rewarding to even be asked to speak to you, to have the opportunity to share my experiences, my insights, and hopefully inspire at least some of you to demand more of yourself. Not to stop here on your journey, but to pivot, to be resilient, face adversities, and make the 2020 pandemic simply another moment where you learned and grew stronger. For First National Bank, we follow the same principles. Our collective reward is knowing that our efforts create indigenous wealth with international aspirations, and that our customers are the best served in the region. We naturally seek to earn and grow to ensure our people are rewarded financially so that they too can create wealth and contribute to the national development, but also that they feel rewarded in knowing that their contribution make life better. And perhaps that is my biggest challenge to all of you here today. How do you take today's achievement and use it to pivot to new challenges, to develop and use your new resiliency to face new adversities so that the reward is not simply your own? How will you sink your roots deeper and withstand the storms that come so that your example serves to guide the next generation? How will you reward the nation for believing in you and providing affordable education and opportunities for your personal growth? How will you change the world? Your world to start with, yes, but then the world of your family, your community, and the nation as the circle of influence and impact grows and grows and grows. In 1994, I was here at this very institution for a graduation ceremony. And I cannot say I remember every word that was said. I was in the audience as a graduate myself, so there were many distractions. But I do remember a quote and question. Tell me who is the author of this quote. Collective judgment of new ideas is so often wrong that it is arguable that progress depends on individuals being free to back their own judgment despite collective disapproval. Well, if you guessed Sir Arthur Lewis, Nobel laureate and the man after whom this institution was named, then you are correct. Those words stayed with me throughout my career. Collective judgment is often wrong. So that is my challenge to you. After years of studying the collectively approved knowledge of books and lectures, I suggest that it is merely a base, the point on which you must now pivot and be free to back your own judgment and achieve your goal with the passion and commitment that will no doubt be often challenged. Be flexible. I assure you that you do not know everything. Trust me on that. But be resilient to the challenges and adversities that will try to force you into being anchored blindly in a safe and acceptable thinking of the past. You are not the past. You are the future. The next generation of thinkers. Many decades ago, the thought of non-landowners and the ordinary man in St. Lucia establishing a bank for St. Lucians was unthinkable. So what unthinkable and amazing thing will you do? Think about it. So, graduates of 2020, congratulations. Go out there, be resilient, pivot through your adversities, celebrate and share your reward with humanity. I thank you.